Alright, hey everyone. I'm back again, Remy from the Life of a Song blog. My voice just cracked, which was really weird. And that also means we should probably just get started. We're going to be continuing our song here today, and we're going to be adding some EQ, some compression, and just generally kind of mixing this track to get everything kind of blended together and sounding good. Yeah, let's just actually jump right into that. So the first thing I'd probably want to do is just organize all of this because we haven't been working in such an organized kind of fashion, which isn't too great. Just kind of for following along, I guess, purposes, and not getting too confused, not getting this too jumbled up. Let's try to organize this real quick. If there's a loud noise in the background, it is because my external hard drive decided to start screaming right now. He's just not having it, and I sincerely apologize. So, we are going to be... Everything that's kind of named already can kind of stay this way. Things like this here shouldn't really be left unnamed. Actually, not sure what this is, or why this is here, or when this got here. Huh. I guess we can just delete this track since nothing's on there. Weird. Alright, so this right here is going to be the bass line. So we're going to be putting bass in here, and double click this and add 808, right? And this one we can just name drums. Drums, right? So 808, we can right click this image and pick a more suiting one. So another fun thing you can do is recolor everything. So right click there and then hit assign track color. And I usually pick like a kind of a theme and go down it. So we can do kind of light blue, right? Then click it again, hit this light blue again. We can get this whole track looking like that. This one here, we can make the color underneath it. Alright, looking good. So now that we've got it all kind of a little more sorted, we can begin our process of mixing. So when you hit X, you can bring up the mixer here, and this is where you're going to have in all your audio effects on each of the tracks, which are all here. And the reason that the drums track is already going to have all these is because we used a drum machine designer, and that one likes to come with all its own little doodads and added effects on it. I tend to not really change them or do much with them, as it kind of sounds alright the way it came. I see why you would want to, though, because not everyone likes having their mixing decisions made for them and dictated to them, so this might be changed by some people just for keeping it simple for this. And at a beginner's level, we're not going to really mess around with this too much. We can just start up here at this one right here, the glass marimba, which is kind of our main lead throughout this that repeats. So not too much we can really do with this. We can add an EQ to it, and the easiest way to do that actually is right here where it says EQ, to just click in that square, and it'll open up a EQ plugin, just the default Logic one, and we can probably pick a preset for a keyboard. It's kind of a low piano type of thing. And let's hear what that sounds like. Solo that track, pick it right here, without the plugin. With it, here it just sounds a little bit more bouncy. You can kind of see how the wave pattern goes here, and how when it's playing, there's like a little valley right here where it's cutting out these frequencies while these here are being boosted, and over here it's being boosted. Nothing's really going on over here, so we can actually cut that out too. Picking a low piano is probably a good idea. There we go. That would probably be alright. And the reason we want to do this is because nothing's really happening here. So what we're doing is we're just creating silence in these frequencies up here, because there might be a little bit of like residue of this playing over here, and that's just gonna fog up our stereo image and our sound, because there's other things we could be using, not too much, but there's other things that could be using up these frequencies that is currently being used by this track. So as long as we clear it, the less kind of things we have in the way, the better. And we don't want anything in the way, any kind of like just fog that we can't even hear because it's not even really happening, but might actually just be there clouding up the stereo image. We just want to make sure that's not playing. So we can just cut out any unnecessary thing, boost things that do sound nice, cut out other things again that are kind of unnecessary so that we can have that space to fill up with a different instrument that might be able to utilize this better and won't be kind of overpowered by this is playing that we don't even want to hear. So now that we have that kind of done, I don't think this one really needs a compressor. We can probably add a little bit of compression just to bring it a little bit more to the forefront. So we can click this little bar right there and it'll bring up a compressor, and let's play from here. And bring up the ratio, like 2.5, I guess. And you can see the compression happening right here. Bring down the threshold. Let's bring it up to like 5. So we can turn off auto gain here and just bring this up to about 5 to make up the gain that we're cutting out right here. So basically what a compressor does is kind of equalize the output volume of what we're hearing in the sound. So if a part is too quiet, it'll boost it, and if a different part is too loud, it'll lower that volume. And we can set kind of the threshold here to how many dB we want, with the ideal dB we want it to be at, and if it ever crosses the threshold, the compressor will silence it, and if it's not loud enough to reach this threshold, the compressor will raise the volume a little bit to make it louder. And so this is kind of going to boost this up to where we kind of want it ideally to be at. So that's why a compressor could be kind of useful. And what that does, it kind of compresses the sound into one certain audio range. And, we can, of course, set, how close we want it to get there with all our different knees and attacks and releases, which we probably won't touch too much right now. It's not too necessary. This is going to sound just fine. So now that we have this boosted a little bit, we can hear it. A little more prominently in the background, right? So we should be done with that one. Now we can do the ice synth lead. And what I'm actually going to do is hit C on the keyboard, which activates the looping mechanism. It could be different in your DAW that you might be using, but there's always going to be some kind of looping mechanism. Yours might even automatically loop, but you should be able to select a region that you want to just hear again and again. And that way we don't have to keep pressing play and pause while we edit. So, EQ. And another keyboard default. So maybe a mid piano. Sounds pretty good. Add a compressor to this. Hit this little bar. Liking the way that's sounding. Now you can hear that's popping out a lot more in the mix. We can listen to that again without these on. See how much farther back that's sitting once we activate these two. It just sounds so much better, It's definitely a lot of difference you can make here with this. Finally, let's do the bass. Add a little bit of EQ here. Let's pick a bass preset. Bass improve. Let's see what that does. a compressor to that right here. We'll compress this one a little bit more. At about 10, maybe. -10. Also -5 earlier. Sorry, I said 5. Sounds good. Maybe it's up to 10 since we're cutting out 10. Lower that volume a little bit. Alright, so now we're on the 808. We're gonna add an EQ. Let's see here. Oh, that sounds good. Let's just bring this over here. So here we can add that little sub boost that we heard earlier to make this one kind of lower than everything else. Gonna edit this just a little bit. Well, this was a good idea. I think we're missing a lot of the punch because we're cutting out all this over here. So cut that out. Let's compress just a little bit less on this. There we go. Get that nice and dirty. Let's hear that. Alright, and that will really make your system rock. Cool. So, now we have successfully mixed all of this together real nice and made it look kind of more aesthetically pleasing. So, there you have it. That's the lesson this time. Come back next time for something else that I will think of, most likely extending this track and possibly adding the beginning of some lyrics. Maybe we'll get into songwriting. Yeah, so we'll see you then.